Hello, Namaste. This is Priya here. Today I am going to talk about types of groups, goals, advantages of group counseling and individual counseling. From birth to till late adolescence, children exhibit an increased range of cognitive, emotional, psychological and social skills. As children master all these skills, the tactic to solving the problems in their social and academic environments were also increasingly approaches to those of adults. Thus, as children work to endeavor these skills, group must be designed to capitalize on the skills they have attained and to correct serious emotional, developmental and adjustmental problems and to meet those needs through interactions with others in the social environment with the help of group or individual counseling. Now let's know about group counseling. Group counseling refers to working with the individuals and groups with a professional counselor to learn to resolve interpersonal and personal concerns of the client. It is not at all a simple individual counseling which can be applied to the groups. Features of group counseling are quite unique and it is focused on assisting counselors to cope with their day-to-day adjustment and developmental concerns. This form of counseling becomes popular in 1960s when counselors began to realize that individuals who were having similar problems and could profit from sharing in groups with the help of a counselor. Webster's Third New World International Dictionary defines a group as a number of individuals bound together by a community of interest, purpose or functions. During the past 15 years, group counseling with children have extended increasing acceptance as an intervention modality with the children and adolescents in schools as well as in non-school settings. Do you want to know the meaning of groups? Let's see what does the group refers. Group is a place where client can experiment with the different ways of behaving. As client listen to the other people experiences, they will have a chance to compare them with their problems and makes them that they are not the only person who having the problems. Now we will see how counselors may view various group activities under three levels. These three levels are the guidance level, the counseling level, the therapy level. Group guidance refers to group activities which focus on providing information or giving guidance through proper plan and experiences. For example, classroom guidance, career guidance, orientation groups. Group guidance also include educational, vocational, personal, social information by providing accurate information to the group members and should help them to make appropriate plans for their life decisions. Group counseling focuses on assisting individuals to cope with their day-to-day adjustments and developmental concerns. For example, behavioral modification, improving personal relationships, and career decision making. Now, let's know about group therapy. Group therapy is a form of psychotherapy in which a small, carefully selected group of individuals which meets regularly with a therapist. Group therapy gives extreme practices for people with serious adjustment and emotional or developmental needs. These groups are distinguished from counseling groups by length, time, and depth of the counseling process. In therapy groups, individuals usually will be having chronic or mental or emotional disorders which require major personality restoration. For that, group therapists sure require a higher level of training and experiences to manage these type of clients. When it comes to child counseling, there are two common types of counseling groups for children. These are therapy groups, psychoeducational groups. Therapy groups aims to bring about changes through the use of groups. Such groups facilitate the participant to work through difficult emotional issues by talking about them in the group settings and engage in them activities. This will permit them to express their feelings, emotions and the changes in their thinking style and also in their behaviors. These are mainly useful for those children who have been diagnosed with a mental health disorder or form of some serious emotional distress and psychiatric disturbances. For example, children suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, schizophrenia, anxiety disorders, disruptive behavior, conductive disorders, oppositional disorders, specific developmental disorders. Therapy groups will also be useful for those children who do not have severe emotional or psychiatric disturbances but experiencing some difficulty in coping with the stresses, those caused by the change in their lifestyles. In these type of groups, counselor gives primary focus on the expectation and resolution of the problematic issues. With this, children release disturbing emotions, modify their beliefs and attitudes and also their behaviors. They may get support, encouragement and feedback relating to their issues, behaviors, beliefs and attitudes, as a result of which they may discover more about themselves and also realize that they have more choice rather than they expected in the regard to changing their attitudes and behaviors. Now it's time to know about what are psychoeducational groups. Psychoeducational groups aims to bring about change primarily with the use of psychoeducational input. The purpose of these groups is to provide the children with information which help them to adjust their reactions to their life situations and to perform in a more adaptive ways. These groups are more structured than the therapy groups. They may develop structured curriculum and the main focus is on learning. The process usually involves group interactions with the members of the group sharing and discussing of thoughts, feelings, experiences, attitudes, beliefs and values and other relevant topics. Counselors in this group may also use extensive media usage to engage children and also to have more discussions on their own problems. Are you thinking whom counseling applicable? Let's see to whom and all this technique is applicable. Group counseling can be useful to those individuals who are very shy or aggressive in their interpersonal interactions, or anxious persons, or who are uncomfortable or resistant in the groups away from social expectations. These children may have difficulty in making friends or often experiencing frictions with the peers, parents, teachers, faculty and other sorts of people. Group counseling is not appropriate for those individuals who have high interpersonal or personal conflicts and also for a person with social phobia or to those who have low anxiety tolerance and to find interactions as a traumatic situations. In such cases, individual counseling can be suggested with the group counseling after individual feel that they are confident. Now let's know about the goals of group counseling. These goals are, the first one is to enhance problem solving skills, to understand problems and explore possible situations, to improve their comfort level in the group, to increase openness in the group, to increase observations and feedback skills, to develop self-awareness, to improve interpersonal relationships, to obtain employment, personality reconstruction, to decrease in social isolation. Group therapy is sometimes used alone, but it is also commonly combined into a wide-ranging treatment plan that also includes individual therapy and modifications. Now, let us see the principles of group therapy. In the theory and practice of group psychotherapy, Irvin D. Yalom outlines some of the principles which is in the group therapy process. The installation of hope. Usually the group contains members at different stages of the treatment process. By looking at those who are in coping or recovering from the difficulties, gives hopes for them who are in the beginning stage of the process. The second one is universality. In group counseling, client will be a part of people who have similar issues or problems and help them to understand, to see that whether they are going through universal or that they are not alone. The third one is imparting information. Group members are able to help each other by sharing information which makes them to be open. The fourth one is selflessness. Group members are able to share their strengths and help in the group, which can boost their self-esteem and confidence. The fifth one is personality reconstruction. Therapy groups is much similar like a family with different problems. Within the groups, each member can explore how childhood experiences contribute to personality and behaviors. They can also learn avoid destructive behaviors which make them to reconstruct their personality. The sixth one is social techniques or socialization techniques. The group setting is a very good place of practice of new behaviors with socialization. Group setting is the safe, supportive for all individuals who are involved in the group and experiment without any fear. The seventh one is interpersonal learning. By interacting with other people who have different kind of problems and receiving feedback from the groups and the therapist, each individual client can gain a greater understanding of himself or herself. The eighth one is group cohesiveness. Clients in the group will be united for common goal and can have a feeling of belongingness and acceptance. Catharsis. Sharing feelings and experience with a group of people can help relieve from pain, guilt, stress and other behavioral problems. It is also an extreme change in the emotions that result in renewal of or reconstruction or restoration. Existential factors. While working within the group offers support and guidance, group therapy also realizes that they are responsible for their own lives and also the actions and choices whatever they make. Are you all waiting to know about what are the skills of the group therapist? Let's see the skills of group therapist. Group therapy helps the clients to learn and understand about themselves and also to gain confidence. And they also have the better skills and to get support from the others. To manage group, the therapist should possess the following skills as well as the roles. Group therapists must be well versed in the knowledge and skills of how to lead and in an effective way in appropriate manner. Do you all worried about the confidentiality? Let's see that. Groups are always protective and confidential. Whatever the members disclose in the sessions is not shared outside the group. The meaning and importance of confidentiality are reviewed with the group members at the first meeting and also at every time with a new member joins in the group. When client feels safe enough to share what is troubling them in a group will likely to be very helpful and sustaining. Mutual respect is essential to maintain the safety of the groups. If client decide to leave the group due to some reasons like they might have met the treatment or they feel the methods used by the therapist is not enough for them, so they can easily exit the group. Now we will have a look on how group counseling will help the children and adolescents. In many schools, group work has been treated as an integral part of the counseling curriculum for several years in various states. In mental health settings, group counseling has been a central component of children's inpatient treatment within the private and state psychiatric and residential facilities since the middle of 1980s. Group counseling or group work has been somewhat slower gain acceptance among the outpatients provided, but again practitioners are quickly coming to appreciate the value of group work in encouraging child's development. Group counseling is an effective interactive modality for children and adolescents that are specific to children's levels of cognitive, emotional behavior and social developments. Some of these reasons include the following steps. The first one is group counseling helps the children to form bonds with the peers to discuss about their problems, feelings, ideas, negative interactions among themselves. Group counseling enables to children to understand that their concerns are not unique to them. Group discussions may assist children in discussing and helps to share their problems, fears, worry, and so on. With the use of developmentally appropriate structured activities, children and adolescents are often able to express personal feelings and interpersonal feedback to their peers and that they would have difficulty in expressing to the adults. Usually, people accept more readily constructive feedbacks from the peers rather than from the adults. Now we'll have a look on advantages of groups. The first advantage is it provides social atmosphere. Through group therapy, the clients may have the opportunity to share their feelings, thoughts, ideas with the other client to help the people to express his or whole being. In the group, the client can able to sense the freedom of expressing their feelings to the people and get suggestions. By participating in a group, we can get along with the others. The next one is establishes social support. Group therapy will permit the client to meet new people and establish mutual trust and friendship among the people who spend a lot of time together. Social support is also an effective way to get the person healed from the negative thoughts or feelings. Client can also test out the new practices and new behaviors which enhance the positive thoughts. The more we become involved, the more we are likely to be benefited. The third one is cost effective. Group counseling is often the most effective method to treat the types of distresses that children are facing. Compared to the individual counseling, it is very cost effective and can treat the clients together who are having similar issues. The next one is group interactions. Group counseling can empower the people to discuss the issues together. Giving each member to share some ideas and feelings about the certain topics will improve interaction with other people and also experience a sense of relief. The next one is groups teaches us about ourselves. Every person in the groups holds up a mirror and client can get to see himself through their eyes. It's a way of finding the blind spots that may be blocking the ability to overcome clients' issues. Group help members see that they are not only the one who has that particular problem or issues. Do you know group counseling also have disadvantages? Let's see what are all the disadvantages. The first one is less attention. Group counseling will not give individual attention from the counselor. Some clients may prefer start seeing a counselor individually as it gives them an opportunity to talk with the non-judgmental listener and also to clear up what are all their issues might be. The second one is it has less confidentiality. Confidentiality of the group members is more difficult to maintain. Some clients may not be able to trust each member of the group with their personal secrets and therefore may not share them. The next one is it has social phobia. Most of the individuals get nervous about being in social situations or talking in front of the people about their personal issues. A group session requires individuals to come together, speak about themselves and often address entire group on their own. Clients may get to fear, interact with the other people or can make it difficult for individuals in the group to be approaching and to create results. The next one is sometimes it may lead to personality clashes. Usually in the group counseling where there are more than one person, there are going to be sure with different personalities. Different personalities may obviously clash when they disagree each other. Therefore, fluctuates the outcome of the session. Now we will move on to the individual counseling. Counseling may become in several ways depending on the nature of the problem it is concerned with. Individual counseling is the counseling focused on the individual instant or immediate future concerns of the individual. Individual counseling may encompasses career counseling, planning, dealing with the problems and so on. Individual counseling is the one-to-one conversation between the counselor and the client who is seeking the treatment. The counselor and the client relationship should be enable trust and personal growth. Now we will see what are all the advantages of individual counseling. Individual counseling facilitates an individual to resolve personal difficulties in their life. It also helps to address the individual emotional needs. It helps to dissolve emotional bandages and makes them lighter by addressing such challenges. It helps the individual to decide which goals or achievements are suitable for him, which are not according to their inner strength, support, and resource available. It improves quality of relationship by developing more affirmative behaviors. It creates self-awareness. Secrets of the client will be maintained confidential. Counselors will have enough time to analyze and treat the specific behavioral problem of the client. It improves communication skills. It also provides parents or guardians suggestions for further help or analyze. Individual counseling also has some disadvantages. Let's see what are all those. It may be more expensive than group counseling. Dealing with the individual problem takes more time rather than dealing with the group who is having similar problems. Less motivation and emotional support in individual counseling. Do you know to whom and all individual counseling is helpful? Individual counseling is helpful for those children or individual who is having major challenges or difficulties in their personal or career life situations. This is helpful for those who are in depression or anxiety, who are unable to handle major challenges in the childhood life, who wants to investigate their behaviors, feelings and personality, who want to improve their knowledge, who wants to understand themselves and others, who wants to create better relationships, who want to resolve their career disagreements. Now let's see the types of individual counseling. The first one is telephonic individual counseling. The second one is one session individual counseling. Telephonic individual counseling. In telephonic individual counseling, the counselor will have the discussion with the child or client who are very busy in their life to attend face-to-face interactions. And also it is helpful for those who need some privacy and also in their therapy. The client can express about himself to the deepest without any hesitation, as there is no face-to-face involvement. In second one-time individual counseling. In this therapy, counselor and the client will have deep involvement in the sessions, and it depends on the type of problem and client's involvement. It also deals with the addictive behaviors such as disturbance abuse, relationship abuse, study habits and attitudes, career issues. Finally, it improves the quality of individual's life and relationships by developing life affirmative behaviors. Let's see how counseling helps the child. It encourages and supports the child in various situations. Counseling helps the children to grow emotionally and socially. It helps the children to understand their feelings and emotions. It helps the children to understand individual differences. Counseling helps the children to get along with the others. It also helps the children to explore positive choices. It helps the adult to understand children in a better way. Let's move on to the conclusion. Both individual and group counseling has the benefits according to the situations. Both the therapies will help the client or individual to become a kind of person they want to be. It can also help the client to enjoy most valuable relationships by resolving their own problems. In counseling, the client has the power to change his life based on the choices he makes after getting counseled. Counseling enables members to experiment and work towards improved attitudes and ways of coping with the difficulties. The information gathered by client will be easier for the counselor to figure out which type of counseling is necessary for him and which type of treatment can be applied to the betterment of their life.